Hold on one sec. Sure everybody gets it. Yo, what up, what up, what up? I think everybody is. Good morning, America. Yo, what up? Armando, ¿cómo está? Armando, ¿cómo está? Hey, sorry we forgot yesterday's. I forgot yesterday was Wednesday. Hayden, what's up? You dirty boy. Anthony, what's going on? CRV, what's going on? Yeah, I'm over here at my mom's place because I got my cousin's graduation this Saturday. So, you know how Indian people are. This is like my grandpa's cousins, nieces, brothers, barbers, stepsons, daughters, graduation party. My mom's like, you better get over here, okay? It's your cousin's graduation party. No more excuses. You have been missing out on the family things. You know, I'm like, oh yeah. Which cousin, mom? Like, oh, like, is it an eight? Is it Goose? You know, he's like my first cousin. He's like, one of these things. It's somebody just around. You don't know them very well. I'm over here. I'm over here. Yeah, this used to be like my beat off cave back in the day. All right. Back in my old rooms. But I got all my computers and stuff here, and some of it works, some of it don't. What can you do? Oh yeah. Let's get to work. Let's get our little music going. We don't start with this song, you know that. All right, let's go. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to do. We had the CPI yesterday, and it was a nothing burner. Guys, in general, interest rates, CPIs, as we get like longer and longer into the cycle of this cycle, right? That we've been in, as we get longer and longer into this, you know, as we've been in a range for like a year, right? So as we get longer and longer into this range, those news pieces don't really matter as much, you know. Those kind of news pieces, interest rates, CPIs, PPIs, poo-poos, all this kind of stuff, they really matter like when you're like in this phase and then in the beginning of this accumulation phase or like a basing phase, which, you know, we went through for long periods of time as the market digests, right, like that bear market. But in general, in all manners of looking at this, whether it's technical or fundamental or whatever, news related, right? The bear market itself has been over for a long period of time. And, you know, now we've entered a long range, and then inside the range, there will be cycles inside a range. So you can have a volatile range, which is better than a non-volatile range, but you can have a volatile range where you have bullish and bearish cycles right within it. And, you know, that's where we're kind of in right now, right? So this year we've been in a little bit more of a bullish cycle, as like the NASDAQ is up, you know, quite a bit. But then, right, if you look at like the general, you know, the general market itself, right, the general tech market, the comp, it's really been, its range has gone a little bit longer than the QQQs. So this is like your general NASDAQ, right? So this is from February. You've been stuck in a range. So, you know, year to date, the NASDAQ will look like it's up a lot, but it may not feel like that because, right, all the gains were concentrated. All the gains were concentrated within the first month, right? So when you're thinking about markets, like you got to kind of remember, like a lot of the action is still concentrated in, you know, a handful of names, but I would say this earnings season has been fruitful. There's been a lot of good movers around, but you can see this also, right? SPY's just been in range since February. So even though we're showing positive year-to-date action, you know, the last few months hasn't been. And so when you get the range action, range is like the trickiest parts of market, right? I mean, that's the penis in between us. That's range trading is the hardest kind of trading because, right, that's sitting in the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen, but in the middle, right? Like you're a nice Volkswagen Passat shotgun. No, you're not shotgun. left nut, you're not left nut, right nut, you're not right nut. You're right in the middle of the back. And that's a tough place to be if you're, if you're a man's man and you got some muscles on you or something, that's not going to really work. Now, the good thing is, even though while the markets kind of just settle into this range, where like these big dips get bought and the big strength gets faded, that's really what's happening, right? Is big dips get bought, big strength gets faded when you're inside a range, which means bear flags turn into rounding patterns, bull flags usually turn into like fade spots, so on and so forth. So while we're in this range, though, you want to be concentrating on more of, right? You want to be concentrating more on, like your earnings and PR plays, because those are going to move kind of irregardless of what's happening in the market. Whoa, what's that over here? Hold on here. Let me refresh this TC 2000. Sometimes that little thing gets going. So what I was saying is, you want to focus in on more of these news plays, because we're probably over half, most of earnings season's over. Like the big guys have gone through. Now we're starting to get a little bit more of the growth names, but you are getting very, very clean, right? You're getting very clean plays on that. So that's where you want to probably, if you're having trouble playing the indexes, and you can play the index, weighted stocks. But if you're having trouble playing them, then that's where you want to go, because the order flow on something that has earnings will move independent to what's happening in the general market. So, you could have a flat day in the SPY, but you'll have like pushes in, XYZ type of stocks, right? So let's just go through these and see if we got anything juicy. 1-800-flowers.com. You've got the 14% move in the pre-market, right? Revenue declines. They lose a lot of money. Hence the stock goes up. Good news is bad news. Bad news is good news, in this kind of phase of the market. This is probably this isn't a little bit of no man's land. It's like $500 million company. You can see it's just kind of open up in the middle of crap. So usually when we have like some type of stock that has an earnings out, you want it more, right? Like a PayPal type of situation where you're really coming out of like a bigger zone. And then you don't have to worry about any levels of supply and demand on top of it or below it. Otherwise, what we would be called, right, like booby traps, right? If you don't have any booby traps because you just got a clean zone, then you can just shred it, indiscriminately without having to be like, oh my gosh, well, I got the 50-day moving average on top. Okay, I've got this price support, price resistance on top. That becomes a lot less, juicy. Dun, 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 dun. Yo, what's up with this bad boy? I haven't traded this thing in probably a decade. For Matt, GT Elliott sends letter and presents a board of Goodyear. Fuck that guy. Hey, this is gonna take this out of this is like probably we got a clean break on this. I don't know. This is not typically like a huge mover, but you do have it does have like a fairly decent enough range, and you can see you're starting to take out some things here. This might be more of like a buyout-y kind of news piece, but big hairy India butt of this is that we might get a trade on this. I'm going to come back to this. Let's see how this settles. I don't like when they just pop up for like 2 candles. Let's see if it settles up. We'll come back to that. I got a whole host of other juicier ones anyways. Now, MGMI is interesting. So if you look at MGMI, you're popping up, right? Revenue rises, EPS drops, whatever. If you look at MGMI, right, like it's kind of coming out of this range a little bit. But the interesting part about this one is that, if you remember like previous earnings, so like the previous earnings report, if you go back here, I had an epic swing trade in this for a hot second. And you can see here, like it ended up gapping up here from 6 or 5 right into 7. It closed the end of the day at 10, and the next day it went to 12. So it does have a history of making moves, which is really important, right? And you ended up getting this thing up to 13. Now, it was obviously in a much cheaper place, in a different space in the cycle, because like you were in a downtrend and then they had an earnings surprise. But it's been marinating here for quite a bit, and we know this thing can go, right? So like we want to always think like you always want to look back, right? Like, is this like a pump and dump thing that right there's like Discord dorks do? Or like, is this something that actually has a history of going through, And so we did have like about 4 or 5 days of romance on this one, and that's enough. So not a crazy amount of liquidity just yet. But in the past, like that day, the last time it had earnings, it got to about 12, which is more than enough juice, right? That's more than enough Welch's grape juice for you guys. Man, Welch's grape juice, man. Do they still make that? That and Ecto Cooler, man. Man, you get some Ecto Cooler, you get a little Welch's grape juice. I mean, you just had yourself a good day, right? Now it's like, you just don't get those kind of awesome things. Like now it's like, you gotta drink wine and the whiskeys, and those are very expensive habits. $500, $1,000. Back in the day, you used to get your fix off just a little Ecto Cooler. Man, like, that's good living right there. Ecto Cooler. But let's add this thing in over here. I like it. Ba-dum. Add it for now. We got some better names on it too. PMCB. Yo, this thing is probably too thin. It never even does like 1 million shares a day in volume. Pass. This ADMA. If you like these little guys, this is a breakout here. It normally does about 2, 3, 4, right, million shares a day. I don't know if this is a big ranging thing. The ATR on this is just 17 cents per day. So, like, if you're going to trade like some little turd, you might want to get in, right, something a little bit juicier. I'd take a pass on this for now. Fiverr. Ooh. Okay. So Fiverr is an interesting one because this thing used to be $400. One thing I've noticed in this portion of earnings season that we've had so far, it's really been the stocks that have been like $200, $300, $400, and they've been sitting like fairly near lows that have been like have been giving you the good trades. So this actually, right, like this is probably in the cards of what we're doing because the float on this is only 37 million shares. This actually may have a chance. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this, and so this would be like more of a B- type of setup for me, is that even on its biggest days, like you just don't get the liquidity to get any size in it. So like if you wanted to trade more than 1,000 shares of this, like you really, man, you'd be playing the spread game. You'd be playing a limits game. And, at least for the open sometimes, like I like a nice stock where you could just be a degenerate and hit market order, right? And like let that thing fly and just be free. And you can't always do that on these Fivers. So that's the one thing I don't necessarily like about this thing. I'll add this for now, but that's not on the top of the list. We'll start ranking these in a hot second. Tapestry, this will open up into the layer of shit. Look, if you don't like this is energy renewable earnings rise. This is an IPO breakout over here. I don't know if it does any volume on this too. You do have an IPO breakout. IPO breakouts in general can be really powerful, but this one also has like a liquidity portion of it. If you're like $18 and you're only doing 60,000 shares, like it may not come in all day, right? Like it normally only does like 100,000. So this is one of those ones, like I'll run a 4% breakout scan about 30 minutes into the day, right? So it's 9:30, do it at 10 a.m. Run a 4% breakout scan. So like, what I'll do is like when I'm having like kind of like my favorites that I'm watching, right? Run a 4% breakout scan. And if it's got like, say, 500,000 shares pop off in the morning in that first 30 minutes, then go into it and start hitting it and try to hit it on a pullback or some type of pattern. But if it doesn't have even that much liquidity, then it's going to be really tricky for you. Like, unless you're trading like 100 shares of this shit, it's not going to do anything. Now, this is nice, real nice. This is a good God-fearing Christian setup right here. Like this is, right? So you've got, right, it's been stuck in range since February. All right. It's also used to be right $120. Now you kind of been bottoming out here, but the big thing is it's been stuck in a range for quite a period of time, you know. And so now you're coming out of this thing. So trade desk, it's got a couple price target raises. Usually, look, if you have earnings and then I would say 3 or more price target raises come in too, you can usually get some good flow into something like that. This stock is also trades very thin at the open, but it will get in by the end of the day. Like, you know, it'll get into the 5 to 10 to probably even today could be to 12 to 15 because it's earnings. It just never comes in the morning. It's always been like that. It's just one of those names, like, even though it's a larger cap name, it's $30 billion. You know, you just never get the pre-market flow that you would in some other tech names. I think that's probably close to the top of the list. CSL, this is a short silver ETF. I know some of you guys trade silver futures. You can see here, silver's starting to like break down a little bit here. It's been in this box for quite some time, you know, about a month or so. And you start to come out of that box, and you can see here, you do have a level of demand that's just like right on top of it. So if you start to clear under that, you know, you get some nasty moves in silver. But this is already, like, it's already used up most of its ATR. Yeah, it's not really, unless you're trading the futures on it, it's not really fun to trade silver stocks. I mean, in the end, that's like what we're really here for, right? So look, this is Hood. This thing is like a big turd. Loss widens, revenue increases, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is a tricky one, I'll tell you why. So Hood, let's go to Hood here real quick. So this is just like kind of a way to look at things right in different time frames. So this is your weekly chart. And you can see here, like, you do got like a very clean level that's been going back for over, you know, about a year, right? It's like, I don't know what we call that pattern. We'll just call that like a triangle thingy-majiggy, right? It's a nice triangle thingy-majiggy. But you've got essentially what matters is when you have like a tightening of ranges, right? So when you get like a wide range and then it tightens and it tightens and it tightens and it tightens and it tightens, what we're typically looking at is, right, like it's coiling up. So stocks, right, they get their energy from consolidation. They get their energy right from these like basing patterns. And so what we end up with something like this is like you have that kind of foil pattern like on a longer term basis. Now, on a shorter term basis, though, the big hairy Indian butt is that, you know, it's been up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5 out of 6 days, and it's going to open up right under the 200-day moving average. So if we just going to get rid of all this fucking lines for a second, and right, you come in and you kind of, right, this is a zoomed out view. You come in more like this, just go to the last few months, right? You've really been stuck in a range. And beyond that, right, you have like your 200-day moving average right on top. So for this thing to get juicy, like it might need some more work. But like the big thing is like you need it to get at least over this 200-day moving average. So I set an alert at like, let's say like 980. You know, if you clear it, then like you're going to at least get over that. But then you'll have other booby traps that are sitting there, right? So this is just a little bit of a trickier one. Now, most likely this piggy has some shorts in it and stuff like that. So, you know, you might get a little bit of juice. The market conditions have changed quite a bit where, right, these like kind of, these stocks will like miss on earnings and like dump down. And then if they've got high enough shorts in them, they end up squeezing off later. You can see here. So that's your daily chart, right? That's your intraday. And then this is your hourly. So like just start to kind of be mindful of, you know, the different levels that are around. We got some booby traps that are laying in this bad boy. You can see, right? So just trade around this stuff, and it doesn't really matter. Like how you draw your lines and all that kind of crap, because those are just guides. And then what happens is, right, when you start getting into these inflection points, you want to start zooming in, right, and looking at the current price action and current, right, patterns that are forming. But, overall, like this is probably upper alley, but it does have some booby traps on it in terms of its current range and stuff like that. So just kind of something to be mindful of as we go through this. So not as juicy as Hood, right? Hey, this JD's got earnings out. Now this is China, so it can reverse. It does look like it's coming out of a little bit of range. It's a thick little bastard too. There's a multi-billion share flow. But this thing is beaten down pretty good, right? Like you're like just sitting here at lows, and you already got about 1.6 million shares of volume. Like I think we add this, but with the big caveat is that like these China stocks have been just like they've been dogging it for a while, right? Like you see PDD, big downtrend, right? BABA, right? It's starting around a little bit, but overall, right, longer term downtrend, so I keep this on watch, but don't be surprised if it ends up just rolling over. That's how China stocks are. When they're bad, they're good, and when they're good, they're bad, and when they're in the middle, they screw everybody. Roblox. Hey, you can do a Roblox day 2 play, but it is a little bit stuck in range. Like you may have a lid on this at 41. Not my personal fave, but yeah, everybody else got it on their watch list. Hey, the Goog. So the Goog had an AI conference. Man, I was trying to swing this thing too, and I didn't have them there. But this thing's coming out of range. The issue is Google doesn't really ever move that much. So like it's moved 10 points in 4 days. It's already used up its ATR. It's at $3, right? So this, like, I'd only play this if it pulled back like at least half the ATR, somewhere 920 EMA, like let it marinate and then, take a shot. Or like if it just kind of comes, I would be shocked if it came back and retested the breakout spot, but maybe at least back into like this zone. You don't want to chase this up a 268 ATR. You're coming in like hot at a 3 spot. This is not like a small cap company. Like, yes, ATRs can expand, but it's not necessarily like, it's not that much. Now, look, later on, if we need a short today, I have this on watch for a potential short for just a quick reversal, double top. You've got a gap up on a day 3, and you've got a lot of supply here at the 10:39, 10:40. You may need to like actually bust through this, and then later on, I think we might be able to fizzle this thing out. Like it was just $7 like a couple days ago. This is a huge float stock. Like it's not a big mover typically. Longer term, it looks great, but we've seen this thing too in the past. Like see this, it had like 200 million, 100 million share days, and then it just goes burn. So we'll see it. Right memory, supply has a memory. If we need it, like if the markets start to roll, and that's a big if, right? Like it seems like the markets just roll for like 2 days right now, but what can you do? Let me see. D-Dog. Yeah, this thing is real thin sometimes, but this is one that, like, if you needed a short in the market, you could roll it with something like that too. Now, let's just check these out here and kind of narrow some things down. On the short side, we've got Disney over here. It's not that big of a mover, but you do have a clean break here. I think it's probably worth a few points if it starts to ORB or does a quick pullback by the open, right? So you need a specific setup on it, like either pop into the EMAs or watch that thing roll over, right? Or I wouldn't even go with a 3-candle opening range breakout. Like I would let it probably set up a little bit more, and then you can come in on the shred. We put JD on. I don't have that much faith in this one, but it looks okay. Hey, PACW has been, PACW had earnings out. This is going to be, their earnings are out. Then they said they're losing still deposits, 10% of their deposits. This may put some pressure in. This thing is probably, I mean, we could get this maybe into like a little bit of a liquidation spot. Can't chase it down 25%. Also, there is some FDIC news out today. I forgot when they're announcing it. My guess is they're going to come in and just say, like, we're going to guarantee some more deposits or do better deposit insurance. But that is like laying in the background too. Let's see if this thing squeezes up. Like, I think I forgot which one of, we've seen that on a couple times on these, but right now it looks, let it squeeze up a little bit and then we'll see if we might get a liquidation short on this where like people just pummel this thing back down into zero. Like it looks ganar here, right? And then if this thing starts to really get smoked out, right, then we'll take this DPST down or we'll take CRE down. And this looks, right, we can take one. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Add CRE to the list. Oh, yeah, let's go back into some of these other ones. U's got earnings up, but it's already rolling. It's acting like a Rendy. I think TTD, that's 6 windows. This GT is still holding up, so that must be some kind of bio play. We got MGNI. We got Fiverr. But I want to. GFI, Girlfriend Experience. Sono. You have quite a few of these bad boys. And Peloton had a recall today. 2.2 million bytes. I think we had that piggy too. Fuck that thing. I try to buy my dad a treadmill because he's older. And Indian people, we don't exercise, we just do walking or whatever. Those Peloton treadmills are $3,500. What are we supposed to do with that? That is not right. That ain't right. Right? That ain't right. Now let's go a couple more things we want to do. Day 2 plays. Right? Day 2 plays. UPST over the 200-day moving average. That's 6 windows worthy. All right. Watch yesterday's high. It may shred off right at the open if the Qs hold. I mean, that's a me gusta. All right. That's a me gusta. Couple other things that we need. If this Google's going because of the AI stuff, right? The offshoot of that is probably going to be NVIDIA. Watch that 291 in Microsoft. These are, generally the other AI plays. There's not that many AI companies out there beyond like your, bullshit like Bullfrog Investments or whatever. So keep an eye on those bad boys too. Good. All right, let's go have some fun today. Here. Let's go do what we do. No. AMD pushing through. I actually think AMD probably is short again at some point today. I was aiming more for like 100, 101. I get a little flat open. Hey, Tesla was really weak yesterday too. I do think this is probably if we need some shorts later. Let's pushing through also. Look at this bad boy. Keep an eye on this thing. You got white candle of love on hood. Whoop. Look at that thing. PayPal also going red rolling here. This is the second day in a row the open got yanked on it. Netflix, Microsoft, Meta all week. Man, slow so far. Hood kind of hold. Microsoft testing into yesterday's lows. Disney's got an orb setting up here. JD holds. U holds. Look at MNGI. Look at Disney. And behold, JD, not bad. Yeah, Google taking that. Can't chase that thing. Watch this UPST. Now I'm long some UPST. I'm long some UPST. Some UPST. I got 1940s. Yeah, we do need to clear like this 1960. Yeah, Pack W's halted and it creates nothing burger so far, no setup. Yeah, the red roll setting up at AMD. I think this one's better off strength. See if this market rounds here makes a push. Yeah, stop at 1880, 88. Minimum man. Hood center meta's pushing through. You can see the videos acting like around there. You and me. Meta pushing through. Marcus pulling a red to green out of the big boys. It's just Meta that's kind of testing into into a little bit of a push. We'll see if this thing settles, right? Like you can see here, you've got a big base here. So this was its earnings gap, and now you're kind of coming back. Now you're coming back. Watch that 236.50, but it's got to tighten up, right? You want to really congeal it right there. And market pushing through a little bit. Nothing exciting yet. Yeah, CVNA kind of pushing through a little bit. Yeah, we've cut the red to green on this couple days in a row. You never know, it could do it again. Tesla going red to green. Yeah, I think the interesting one, Affirm had its earnings out yesterday, and you're pushing through on this bad boy. Let's see how it reacts around this 12.95. This UPS seems to be in our undies so far. We'll give it just a little bit of 5-6 cents of rope here. Yeah, this just feels like kind of a dead cat bounce so far in the queues, but who knows? Doesn't feel like it's juicy yet. I got stopped out on UPST. No matter how free. Yeah, we may not get anything there because we see here, like, red spies like I want to consider it much down, but slightly. Tesla heavy, AMD might do a red roll. Yeah, you see Nvidia's pulled the plug a little bit. Nothing aggressive though. The problem with shorting these days is like you got to anticipate a little bit and then cover right into the flush. But you can't necessarily like do them on confirmations all the time. You just don't have that kind of range on it anymore. That around in a little bit. You're testing in this resistance spot. It'd be nice if it could chill for a second. Whoa, MPC. MPC on Metanation. We hood back to 9 EMA. You can see all these little small bombers. You got a couple of them pushing through. TPRU's holding up. Yeah, we're still just stuck in range here. Like the pops are getting fed up, but they're not doing this. But I think this I like right. You got apples trying to ORB to the downside. You may get a little sell pressure in. Netflix rounded now. You can see AMD's been bought up at right the gap fill spot. Yeah, not a crazy amount to do just yet. While we're just stuck in all these ranges. If we get a speed up, then you want to kind of lay it on. You see Apple's still kind of drifting down, but just not heat. Like, okay, like this is like right an ORB or bear flag, but it's down like right 50 cents. You see Creed's bouncing off. W's bouncing off. You see Max, this is a solar company. You got a pretty good breakout on something like this. Like this is probably something to add to the watch list for later. Get that big round basing pattern just stuck out of there. For later though, it's up a lot right now. MG&I from the morning watch list. Yeah, and then MG&I's got a history of making these kind of moves on its earnings days. You probably get some follow through. Balls to the walls. This Compex, this Compass, this runs with Redfin a little bit. This is like a real estate website. They had their earnings out yesterday. Not a lot of liquidity in it, right? It kind of tested into yesterday's highs. She was a lonely little woman. A farm setting up. Junk on Tesla. Hood Nation rolling up the 9 EMA. Now you're pushing back over the VWAP. Yeah, it is interesting reversal on wall. Yeah, you still got bear flags in the queues. A mini. Yeah, it did, Sal. It did. JD still holds up. Yeah, I like this hood. We just need an entry on it. Probably should have maybe shemangled it a little bit over here. The firm testing into some resistance here. You're right. You had an inside day yesterday. We got an MPC coming out of this thing. Yeah, you know when the videos come right back down into yesterday's kind of range and support, it does tend to like bounce off the zone. Yeah, the Dow itself is getting a little bit shemangled. Let me bring up a chat. You got to. There's not really that many Dow stocks worth trading, but let's see. Yeah, it's just based off Disney. So like the Dow's down a few hundred points, but it's all on one stock. Yeah, of course you got Intel and a couple other ones down. Oh, he did everything right. Well, I gotta fluff my coffee. Watch this affair. I gotta warm up this cafe. All right, we got flag in the meta nation. Baby flag on it still needs a little work, right? So you got to have this 9 EMA tighten up on this because you used up 5 points of ATR and you're at the resistance zone, right? So you need a little bit of a tighten up. Ooh, a little Uber. Let me see, brother. Yeah, it looks all right. Empty, pulling back. All I want to do. The Amazon pushing through. Still not enough heat on Palantir to load it sharp. Let's just see Tesla farting around as always. He's being out around D. Yeah, you just got a mixed bag. Ain't much to do yet. Be all right. Yeah, we might. I think we probably be able to bounce this NVIDIA 283, 284 ish. We need some cooperation here because you just got like range life and all this stuff. I'll be there. Gonna be all right. Yeah, it's still stuck on a 2-day moving average. It's marinating here. Hey, Fogo, I'm at my mom's house right now. I got a graduation party and then I had a wedding. I'm just in the Michigan. If anybody's around, let me know. You come out of range in this hood now. I'll be there. Don't you feel? Man, that Baywatch song really does, don't it? Those 80s were a nice time. Those 80s were a nice, good, God fearing Christian time. How don't you, babe? Yeah, I'm surprised TTD didn't hold, but when it spiked up and just red rolls, you leave it alone. Ooh, that was a good one. I thought you weren't doing the cover half full shits anymore. I don't know. Just trail it down. Hey, I'm going off your own rules. Oh, I meant on just the long side there. I was just talking on the long side. You love me, keep me hanging on. To be a man about it. Boy, this fucking market's resilient. I added some NVIDIA here for the bounce, 285. I added some NVIDIA here at 285.10. Get out of my life. Just let me sleep at night, guys. Come on, we're good people here. Just give us a little thrust, a little thrust and bust. On a video, don't be a bench on. Come on, we're all good people here. Watch this meta. Hood's starting to push through. Yeah, it's a problem with the Teslas. It's just it's been acting weird. Fake red to green on the cues. Yeah, this is the problem with the range life. Backseat of your buddy's Volkswagen. And I saw this NVIDIA flat 285. No bounce. Yeah, there's almost a time limit on this kind of counter trend trade. You know, if it doesn't come into the VWAP, then you just get out. You see everything's getting rugged. AMD, big rug. AMD, rugalicious. And on the daily chart, this is more likely to rug, right? Because you're right, it kind of this resistance spot. You know, most likely, I don't know if that anything's anything. We've seen that play out like 50 times. They always raise it. Tell me the day they don't. Then we can do some fun stuff. Yeah, there ain't much to do yet, sir. There ain't nothing to do yet. And while we're stuck in this kind of range, I mean, all you're getting is like some small scalps, really. Not anything I think would be like juicy. You look around in Microsoft. Netflix gone red to green. Right, Google's still holding up. And you see some of these small caps are gone. This one probably nothing today unless it comes back into the VWAP. App loving this earning breakout too. These are good for like tomorrow probably. We got this range break setting up, but it's up a lot right now. Netflix starting to push through a little bit. You see on the daily chart, you're kind of coming out of a longer term tightening pattern. Yeah, D-Dog's an ultimate Randy. It just has no liquidity in it. On my pillow. I'm long some meta here. I'm long some meta here. Let's see if we get a juice on this puppy. I got 0.48. My only issue in meta, like the pattern is nice, but the market keeps getting rugged every time it comes to the top of this range. By your heart. Away. Yes, you get the push up. We can put a stop loss like right in this range right here. Nvidia busting through a little bit. But I lost it somehow. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. I think the Netflix looks better. You got a lot more heat on it. I do like this bad boy too. Confirm back to the VWAP. You can see a hood. A lot of these things are just popping like a few pennies to get rugged. See PE off earnings. BYD did end up getting shredded. It had a flat open. I didn't think we ever forgot about it for a hot second. You got a bunch of kind of fizzlers happening on the downside, but nothing that's a speed up. I dumped this meta 0.28. I dumped this meta at 0.28. Lost 20 cents. Yeah, with the market testing lows, no point. Oh, see, you got to get out of them quick. They get rugged fast. Hey, Johnny, let me see what's up on that. Yeah, this one runs with LI. These are like China names. It seems like that's where some of the strength is in the market. You got JD still holding up. LI's holding up. XPEP. What else goes with these? PDD. Then you get Red Baba. Hey, Steve-O, that was good. You know what? They deserved a little bit more attention based on this. Look at PDD. That was hot. Good job, buddy. Yeah, shots are empty so far. JD breaking out of his flag a little bit here. You can see Baba's trending. It should cruise just based on some of these other ones. You can see Billy's getting a pickup here too. These are all China names. IQ's holding up. DME. DME's been stuck in a range for a while. You have 1.2 million shares of volume. Billy. Well, even when you test the lows today, you don't really get the follow through. That's why I don't like always needling into the charts when it's dull. Yes, this one was a little bit better. Still just looked a little funky. Yes, I swear it's so true. Yeah, maybe he's still stuck in range. And maybe like see his toilet, but it's just so sloppy. When it looks like, like a kid drew all over it, they usually are just trickier trades. Writing on the wall. I can't get enough of. I can't get enough of. Yeah, still a little range life on the spot. Basically, what we need is a speed up really to get involved. Granted, the video's a trender. It's so true. Yeah, Nucor announced some share repurchase plan. They didn't say how much though. Damn, Steve-O. Cree ended up fading back off. In the nation, across the nation. Nucor pushing on that news. They kind of did. I mean, it's been in such a downtrend. Round the world. We got the dancing in the streets. The MGNI holds. Well, yeah, you got to push out of nowhere per usual. You fall at your feet. All right, we're getting a little bit of speed here. We got to push on Meta. Hot damn. I am the king of wishful thinking. I'm warming up my coffee. Watch this 236.50 on this. Amazon got some juice. I don't know about that one. It's a wiki as all hell. Better leave alone, probably. I guess one's cleaner, but it probably doesn't have as much heat. I know I will. Holding my. I know I will. In the air. Gould did come off the VWAP a little bit. You won't. Is anything even moving around right now? We got a couple big candles on these. We'll see if this range starts to hold. You know, the margin on that's been really shitty on E-Trade lately. I took it off the list. That was a mistake. Yeah, that's your kind of classic bear flag. It just doesn't do that much liquidity more. So there's always a spread on it. What's it doing? Like 300, 400,000 shares in the morning, right? 700,000 for the day. Ah. All junk so far, except Amazon and Google. This is a nice swing. This is more of a swing trade pattern, right? You got the big breakout here. You got a flag developing, but this doesn't do the volume to necessarily day trade it very easily. Damn, I had this on the list of short, but I was waiting for a little bit higher. As Pac W could fizzle back down into the lows of the day. Let's see if we get a speed up on that. What was it? A couple weeks ago, right? We had the epic trade on it. Nice to go back for one more. Market started to push a little bit, but still no speed up. Thinking about again without you. Indian music for a little while. Move it into the Bollywood song since it's so slow, but only the love song. Coffee is thandi. The video based it out a little bit, but now we're top of the range. We good. Oh, this mat is hot. John. Uh-huh. We doing this or what? I added a few. Fuck it. 0.96. Play for the Scalpy McGee. John. Don't you guys wish you were Indian? Get the hair, the brains, and the 80s love songs. I saw half just to get on the board today. I sold half just to get on the board. Stonehead. Put a stop at 236.80. We'll make it a free trade. You guys need more love in your hearts. Oh, Mr. Gaines with the Tesla chart. Let me see. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, top of the range now, so not much heat. I've been staring at this fucking thing all day. MGNI. Now that AMD's kind of filled this most of this gap, I think you still got room on the bear flags, maybe down to 95 before you got to really like make this zone right here is kind of the real support. It's not been a good market to short lows. Ooh, I wonder if this NVIDIA is kind of going to push in to do a Sizzler. I'm granted we tried it before, but it went 290, 282. That's $8. That's an ATR long, basically. Yeah, I figured Google probably fade today at some point. Spy stuck in range. QQQs pulling out. Hold on one second. I gotta make a call. This meta still looks good. Keep it. Flag. Hold on. I gotta make Yo, back. Sorry about that. Well, I should have re-added that. Rebounding a little bit here. Not anymore. La 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 la. Oh, thank you, Mom. Dun, 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 dun. Clove, huh? Hey, Nick, but that was a good ad. Come right down into some support. Actually, breaking under the support makes it even better. Gives it more of that bounce. Yeah, you got to speed up now. You see here, you got a nice flag developing on the cues. Yeah, Teslas look a little bit more like a grinder. Let me see what this up with Qualcomm. Let's see. Yeah, so this is, this is a short setup, so it's gonna get below that earnings low, most likely. Right? So you got to get the gap down and then the bear flag. I think it may need like an inside day to just let the EMAs catch up. That's usually this thing's a turd. Yeah, Tyler. I mean, it's lunchtime, so the volume will usually slow down. Hey, Evan. This is this is a good bread and butter type of earnings play. So like you get a gap up out of range here, right? And then you're doing the intraday setups on it. I mean, I didn't have this on my list. I think it probably didn't have enough liquidity in the pre-market. It didn't show up on my scan. But that's that's really good range right there. Then you can see like even into the later in the day, like you had this like VWAP play. So you had some really you had some decent ones there. You got LI setting up here, a little bit thicker of a stock, but yeah, I have this ISR GM watch for a swing. You can see here. It's been coiling up for a while. It's just starting to test it, but the volume was too light, so I took a pass. Sell. You have talked some sense into Brad, man. He's gonna lose all his money betting on these random things. He's got like a $50,000 account and has like 200 positions. Pretty orderly pullback here. I would maybe reload some if we retest. Right now, look at we've got failed break over yesterday's high. So now we're stuck back in range. So you got to be a little bit careful. This app love, and it did break out, but it was slow. It's kind of one of those things. It's like you do it, and is it worth it? The nickel and dime, like this might be a little bit better now. Let's pull back $3-4. I see you. Yeah, you actually could work. Hold on. I hate buying HODs during lunch, pull back here. Third tap on MGNI. Tesla coming out of range. Do we dare? Or is it too slow? Might be slow. That's good, Samurai. It's one of those days you take a point here, you take a point there, and add it up. Remount on MGNI. Right, so you got a $3-4 pullback here. Now you kind of remount in the VWAP here. If it can build over here, that'll probably be a decent end of day popper. Only 45 million share float on it. Look, you got NVIDIA starting to creep again. Tesla coming out of range. You got a flag on the QQQs. Tesla flag. I just can't chase it up. It's such a pig. Yeah, Microsoft looks okay. Nothing really, nothing that says like, hey, this thing is right. A hootin' nanny. You can see right the besides Netflix, you don't got really anything that's like a big trender. Ooh, look at the MG and I start to push. You got baby flag developing on this NVIDIA. Chung, 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 chung. MGNI, you got a big candle coming out of here. Video, baby flag. My baby loves me better than I do. Love of a woman. Love of a woman. Too much pride in me, the words. Cause he still hurt. Still never keeps going. $20 flag. These are our two plays. I think we can get it. Just talk to me. No. And on the road, work hard every day. Where corn don't grow. All right, if this thing comes out of range in the market plus here, we can do this. And we're holding the breakout spot here on meta. We may end the day run here, but big hairy butts, we need this to come out. We're at noon, so it's going to be a little slow, and then we'll see what's going on. And then we'll do the Lord's work. Oh, no. No matter where you go. Let's do this. I added back a half on Meta. I added back a half on Meta here. Now we're holding it to 20 EMA. I added some NVIDIA here for the flag, 0.7. Whoa. $286.70. Oh, no. All right, the market's starting to test that spot right here. Let's see if we push out. I got some Meta. I got some NVIDIA. I'm gonna be somebody. Come on, baby. We're good people here. We're good, God-fearing Christian folks. I'm gonna be somebody. I knew Max was gonna get shit. I'm gonna be somebody. All right, now we're pushing through here. Let's see if this thing can get over that 287. Maybe we'll push into that green to red spot. Got a little one. You see the Qs that's coming out of range, testing HODs. Let's see if we get a little follow through here. I mean, we already got 2 plays, but we can't be afraid to add another one and lay the nuts on. Start switching away. Man, what a trender. Work hard every day. Where corn don't grow. We need this meta to get over this 238. Boy, it's slower than a goose and caboose now. It's slower than a goose and caboose. Ooh. That just ain't right. Then I knew now. Let's see, we're retesting this breakout spot, but does need a hold here. Otherwise, it'll be sucked back in the nastier range. Where corn don't grow. Max is high, but the rug potential is higher now that you're like mid between the VWAP and the high of day. Ugh. I'm fluffing my coffee. Stop, Cindy's. Oh yeah, yeah. We working. We working. Yeah. Man, you didn't even give us an entry. You was definitely tricky because you had like this big spike and then it dumped all the pre-market. It just drifted lower, 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 lower. And they're reversing like the first candle. Like, what do you do with that thing? Baby flag on you. Looks after you got the pull and a retest now, right? You're kind of retesting back for a little triple whammy. Come on, baby. We're good people here. We deserve this. You're not sure that you love me, sure enough to let me go. and you were here. Where even now? You told Joe. Play these stupid games, try to break each other's hearts. Thank you. There we go. There we go, Meta. Middle of night. Yes, I ain't too difficult. And he's never been behind the old wrong. Won't say the problem. And I'll get out and sing a different song. Time to get right. I sold this NVIDIA 0.85. It's dead. I sold this 0.85. I took the profits on Meta too. Stop at 20 MA and the other half of Meta. I sold all of NVIDIA. I'm done for the day. It's nice out. What are we doing here? Should be at the beach, at the lake. Oh, yeah, it was worth a shot. I got out of it flat. Yeah, it's past my bedtime. Time to go have some food. I rarely trade this late. And since it's so slow, figure maybe we get something. Dun, dun.